I don't know how many of you guys saw this last week, but Marcus Hutchins of DEF CON fame recently posted a classic inflammatory post about certifications versus experience, whatever, saying that he was talking to someone, then that person started flexing their OSCP. He said he had no interest in debating with someone that's stuck in their ways, so he said OSCP is a beginner cert purely because I knew it end the discussion by causing him to get mad and block me. Which, I mean, the OSCP is a beginner cert, but more on that later. I think this comes around the same time as Heath Adams, who used to be the cyber mentor on YouTube, recently said that he's stepping down from TCM Security, which is weird because it's the company he founded. And if you're not familiar with TCM Security, well, I think over the last 4, 5-ish years, they've like flooded the market with all sorts of quote unquote certifications here. And I think it sort of brings into perspective this topic that comes up every 6 months, which is do certs matter? What certs matter? What is worth the most? And I think, it's not like he's the only one. Like, for instance, Network Chuck, I think every few months or every year posts something about, like, these are the certs that you need to get hired. I think one thing people fail to recognize in a lot of these cases is that people are actually incentivized to promote the certs that they have. Because when things have more attention or more people who are certified, and the company that sells the certification can pass the basic checks to seem legitimate, I mean, that's all you really need for a cert to take off. It's really just about perception. So I think all of that over the last few years has culminated into this monstrosity. There's a website by Paul Jeremy which essentially seeks to capture all of these certifications that are relevant to, you know, security. And I mean, like, it's obscene. It's obscene, really. Like, it tries to categorize them, it tries to organize them by like skill level, but you have weird things that stand out, like, I don't know, CASP plus is up here right next to OSCP. I haven't heard of half of these to begin with. The OSED and the OSWE are up here next to, like, it's just like, it's nonsense. It's so much. Now, I can totally understand why people are so fixated on this stuff, especially now, right? Like, in the US at least, and I'm strictly talking about the US perspective here, the unemployment rate for those aged 20 to 24 years with a bachelor's degree and higher is at 9.3%, which is crazy. The economy sucks right now. It's bad. I'm not going to get into it, but I think this brings me to the main point, which I think Graham Helton here last year covered pretty well in his blog called The Certification Industrial Complex. I think it's worth reading, and he has a whole talk about this too. But ultimately, certifications are just a way to prove that you know how to do something, much like a degree, much like anything else. So I think rather than focus on what certifications are good, what certifications are bad, what's worth it, what's not worth it, what's too expensive, what's too cheap, it's literally just as simple as go look at what job you want, scroll down, and see what certifications they want. So in this case, they want a bachelor's degree, minimum 2 to 4 years of experience, and then they list what certifications matter to them. That's it. That's end of story. I see too many people out there forking over thousands of dollars to random companies just to get more letters next to their names on LinkedIn. I'll be honest, it was surprising to me when I talked to a software engineering professor in college because he was like, yeah, certifications are a scam. And I was like, oh, brother, you got no clue what it's like in security land. I mean, even back, like, when I first started, this is the blog that I read to get a sense of what was worth doing and what was not worth doing. And this is back in a time where I think OffSec only offered like 5 certs total. And here the guy has like, what, 3 of them? Like, I think anything that's been introduced in the last 4 or 5 years doesn't really matter as much. I think if you just look at the job description and you just see what they want and you're grabbing it based off of that, that's fine. Now, I totally understand that I'm coming from a very privileged position. In fact, I recently bought 0 Point Security's CRTO, and I'm going to work through that while I have free time. But I think the point of me getting this is not so I can get a job as a red teamer or call myself a red teaming expert. It's just because I heard good things about the course and people seem to like it a lot. I think Spooky Sec here says it the best when it's like, I don't remember where they say it, but they essentially say, like, hey, if you don't have a degree, you have to chase certifications because there's no other way to prove that you have what it takes to do the job without job experience. If you do have a degree, the only reason certifications help is to prove like a baseline, like, hey, I know security. I'll tell you right now, I have only a few certs. I have Security Plus, I got the BSCP from Portswigger, I got the CPTS from Hack the Box, and I got the OSWI from OffSec. And that's it. And half of these I did not get until I got a job. Because I actually had a resume where I could, like, talk about things I've done. So if you're looking to get a job right now, and I know it's tough, and I feel like I got the last chopper out of Vietnam, I'm not gonna lie to you. But, like, it's very easy to make a blog, write stuff that you're learning, share it on the internet, and if it gets traction, this is something you put on your resume and you say, hey, I'm a guy that can talk about stuff really well. I think especially if you're in tech, one of the biggest things you'll see is that people just don't know how to communicate and talk. And that goes way further than your, like, I don't know, your shell optimization. I think I'm frankly a really stupid guy, but I can talk okay. And that's all that really matters here. I think, all in all, to conclude, I don't think the whole certification talk. I think it's cool to be proud of it. Like, I'm proud of what I did here with the OSWI. I think that was cool. It was challenging. I learned some stuff, but I think one thing that gets covered in the Graham Helton blog that we brought up a little bit earlier was that certifications can only teach you the basics, right? If you want to be a Marcus Hutchins or you want to be a guy talking at DEF CON, those guys aren't getting certifications. Those guys are just doing research. They're just doing the thing. There's so much information out there that, like, you have no reason to be mad about the skills that you have because you can just go learn it and Google it. You can be mad about jobs in the job market because the U.S. economy sucks right now, speaking strictly from the U.S. perspective. But from strictly a skills perspective and proving you know how to do stuff, you do not need certifications. And if you do need them, you just look at where you want to work and what they're looking for and go do that. That's it. I think the fact that degrees are mattering less and less is kind of disheartening, and I think there's maybe a deeper topic to be had there about, like, how college has been turned into, like, a dysfunctional trade school in a certain sense. But I think ultimately, right, the whole thing with certifications and people just getting certifications for the sake of it's a really stupid cultural thing, and I think it's just a waste of time and a way for people to make money not really contributing back to society. Yeah. With that, I don't have much else to say here. I just figured, I don't know. This is something I might just repost every now and then, or it's something I get to make a video about every 6 months when somebody makes another post talking about how certifications are not that important, and then people get mad about it because they don't want to feel bad about the thousands of dollars they've wasted.